everyone. My name is Jennifer Rogg, and I am with CISM, or Canada International Student Magazine. So today, we are here with Miss Hu, the Program Advisor of Langley School Districts. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today. Really, really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm happy to be here.
We're very happy to hear that too. So we'd like to start off with some basic questions. So for our first question, could you please introduce yourself and your school?
Oh, okay. My name is Mrs. Hu. My first name is Ming. I'm a program advisor. I work for Langley School District in the International Student Program. I've been working in Langley as a teacher, as an ESL department head, as an international program coordinator, and a vice principal for 30 years. I taught elementary as well as secondary school. So I know Langley school district inside and out. And also, I think because I've been teaching for 30 years, so today as an educator, I'm going to introduce Langley School District to you. I think you probably, as a parents, you want to know from a teacher's perspective what Langley School District is about. Okay, I'm here today.
So for our second question, for international students, what are the eligibilities for admission to your district schools?
Our international student program is very diverse. So to answer your question, what's the eligibility to come get into our program is really, we want good students, that's for sure. And also, it's mainly depend on availability of seats. So we capped international students under about 1,000 students in the district. And then each school assigned a certain number of seats each year. So depends on what's the seat availability. If we have a seat, you get in. So we don't have really any requirement for language, English language requirement. So we have ESL department. We teach students English. We believe kids, in such a young age, from K to 12, is in the best age to learn English. So I've been a ESL department head for over 2 decades. So I saw many students, young students, learning English in elementary as well as high school, how they come, and within a year, they basically overcome the barrier of language, English language barrier. And then they learn academic English over the next couple of years, and then they graduate and move on to really good universities. So we're not worried about their English language, skills. They will learn when they get here because our regular students, 95% of them are Caucasian Canadian students. The English is the native language. So we have a really good learning environment for kids to learn English and the Canadian culture. So based on my experience as an international program coordinator and as an ESL department head for over 25 years, I just want to tell you that it's a really good place for young kids to learn, to grow and study, and then learn English, Canadian culture, and get to their Canadian, high school graduation diploma, and then apply for university, of course.
So for our next question, how many elementary and middle schools are there in your district, and what is the percentage of international students?
Good question. We have secondary. We have 8 high schools, 8 secondary schools, and then we have middle school 5. And elementary school 35. We have about 25,000, regular students, Canadian students. International student only 1,000, so it's definitely capped under 5%.
So our next question, are there any schools that are recommended for students with special talents, such as those who excel in arts or athletics departments?
I think in BC, this is the only fine arts school in Langley. We call it Langley Fine Arts School.
Really?
Yeah, that's the only one in the whole British Columbia. And I think in Canada or in North America, in the world, not many secondary schools are specialized in fine arts. But in our all high schools, we have a fine arts department. And then Brooksville Secondary School has a really special program. They have a film making program. They got awards, national awards all the time. So the students write their own scripts. They would shoot the movie, and then they would make the movie. Then they bring it to all sorts of competitions. Yeah, wow. They organize their own Oscar nights every year. Yeah, so really, I think anybody who loves to make a movie, that's the program you need to go. My daughter went through that program.
Oh, wow.
She got lots of international awards. In terms of athletics, oh my God, we have many schools offer hockey. Because we have hockey arenas right beside the school. Like Langley Secondary has hockey courses. So you get credits. Yeah. And then we have all sorts of sports teams. We have like rugby. These are Republic Secondary. Every year, the rugby players were drafted by Canadian national teams. They became like professional players. Basketball, of course. Warner Grove Secondary offer a program called the Cook One program. It's a special program. They worked with Vancouver Community College. So the kids, if you want to in the future cook in a 5-star hotel, you have to have a Red Seal diploma.
So for our next question, do you have an age limit for admission?
When you enter Langley, you have to be under 19. And then for graduation, we have no age limit for international students. This is a Langley specialty. Like domestic students, if they're 18, they have to move on to adult school, which is called the Langley Education Center. But for international students, they're so nice to them. So there's no age limit. Some of my international students, they need to do grade 12 again because they want to go to the best university. So they repeat grade 12, then they graduate when they're 19 or 20.
And moving on to the next question, in what area do you think your school district excels or stands out over other school districts?
I think number one, we're part of Greater Vancouver. It's not that far from Vancouver, 45 minutes drive. But our school district, the student population in our schools, 95% Caucasian students, native born. So their English is their first language. So it's the best environment for our, kids from different countries to learn English and learn Canadian culture. Second, I think our schools ranked really high. We have this Fraser Institute of School Ranking. So they rank schools based on students' performance in provincial exams. So Langley Fundamental Secondary School was ranked number one in all 360 high schools in 2019.
That just shows that this community, Langley, has the greatest schools to offer for students, which, very positive.
Yeah, I think and then the last point is it's a family-oriented community and very safe, and it's beautiful. I hope I show you some pictures and videos.
For the next question, so for prospective international students, when should they start the admission process and what information do they need to submit?
For those schools who ranked really high, like Langley Fundamental number one, those schools you need to apply a year in advance because seats are really limited. Like Langley Fundamental only has 800 students. So they only gave like 20 seats to international students, really limited. So if you want to get into that school, you apply a year early. Like, all these schools I told you, like Langley Fine Arts, they only accept students once a year. They evaluate the student portfolio in January. So you have to submit your application and a portfolio before December, the end of December. So then January, they will be evaluated. Like a Mountain IB program, all these, you have to apply 1 year in advance. To answer your second question, what documents they have to prepare, I think the most important is passport, of course. But these days, I think some students that they cannot, get a passport right away. So we allow students to use their ID card to apply. Then they get our offer letter. Then they go to apply for passport. That's fine. And then, of course, report cards, the most recent report cards are the most important. They have to submit. And then they have to submit the custodial document. They can work with the agents about the custodial document and a legal agreement. They can download from the online website and then sign it. Those are the most important documents they have to prepare.
Absolutely.
Oh, of course, there's one more, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Immunization records. They have to upload it to the website.